Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of the Enoch Generation, a generation that walks with God. So in the last 3 episodes, Vaishnavi Vinod has been sharing her experience, her walk, her encounter, her baby steps, moving into solid food and being used by the Lord in ministry. So she's with us today and she will tell us as to how God brought in her life partner and how God is using them as a family to be a great blessing to many. So over to you, Vaishnavi. It was very interesting to see, the way God has been journeying with you literally.
So true.
So, okay, fine. You were Miss Vaishnavi then, and then how did you become Mrs. Vaishnavi Vinod?
Yeah, that's a beautiful story I need to tell. I told now my fellowship girls, one of my friend Annie, she started going to church on Wednesday, marriage bureau day. There'll be the one day we can go and then get the brooms list and then write it and come back home and ring and talk with them. That's what parents will do, right? To find a groom for their children. God is so gracious that God blessed her with such a knowledge. She and my friend Amali, they both went and they wrote and then they came back home. They ringed each one of the number that they have written and then they used to talk to them. My friend, her name is Vaishnavi, she is from different background. We are looking for a groom for her. So we found your number in that bureau. By the time she was not even married, okay? She's just like me. But still they had such a burden to work for me. I should tell it's such a divine knowledge for them that they did that for me.
It's not an easy job.
No, it's not an easy job. So they rang everyone.
So did the Lord speak to them and ask them to look out for a groom for you?
It's not like specifically God spoke to them because every day God was talking to us and then they were sold out for the Lord. I think God would have pushed them. They just went with the flow. Maybe, such a obedience girls for the Lord.
So you were telling us about Annie, isn't it, Vaish? I want to know how many proposals did she actually bring in for you?
Okay, she I even have the paper with me. Once somewhere I was flipping and then I just got that because I have all the prayer books very preciously kept for me. So then it was like around 20.
Oh my God. So would they ask you permission before they made a call?
Even I went with them. On that day, it's like they don't even question me anything. I was just sitting like a doll, and then they both were discussing like elders and writing all that. I was looking and seeing them. Okay, they are doing. I don't know whether it will be fruitful. Okay, let them do if they wanted to do. The thoughts inside of me, and I sat very next to them. And then when they came back home, they ringed. They asked me what are the specifications you want. I kept that in my prayers when I accepted Christ itself because one of my fellowship girl told you need to start praying from today itself for your groom because that's a very big turnover in your life. You need to marry a one who is a believer who accepted Christ. You cannot yoke with a non-believer. That's what Bible says. So you start praying. So already prayers was in progress for long years. And then now that when she asked, I told, hey, I am little taller, So I want the man, at least he should be little more taller than me. That is the only specification I told. I didn't tell anything about this money, this work, nothing. I didn't tell anything. This is the only specification. And then when they wrote, they have written my husband's name, Vinod. And then mistakenly, they wrote 163 centimeters height, okay. And then, so because once she is back home, how I did that, why I have written somebody who is shorter than her. So she made a big cross mark over that name. And then she ringed everybody and kept it, nobody was working out.
So she never called your husband alone?
Yeah, she didn't call for a long time to my husband alone. And then one day there was a big fight started coming in my house because they found one groom and then they wanted to get me married on that groom. And then in office also my father spoke and then there was my bosses were like, okay, you obey. My father spoke with them and then they told she is not obeying us. It became like my boss called me and told, she was like, oh, you should obey your parents who brought you this till this. So there's a lot of pressure. I was under literal pressure. I used to faint in my office because of ulcer and low BP, because I was handling it by myself. Too much pressure for me to handle. I remember my colleagues tease me, whenever you feel fainting, please tell beforehand so that we will be ready to take you to the hospital. It's very it's so hard when you faint suddenly and we are not able to manage the situation like that. So it was in the other way. One day I went to a fellowship, office fellowship. That day one of the preacher came. There was only 3 members attending, and he came and he told me, God is doing a wonder in your life regarding your marriage. On that day, I was not even in a ready mood to accept that. I was like, okay, whatever, let it, like that, because I was so broken and down. And then he spoke, and you will have a time like Joseph, who is in the dungeon, who is in the Pharaoh's dungeon, and then that Potiphar's wife realized that dark time will come for you, and then there will be a day God will take you and start using you. He prophesied on that day. And then we came home, Emily was with me, and then we excitedly told that, he told, by tomorrow or today this will happen. He told like that, God is doing a miracle in your marriage. So we were waiting, nothing happened. So immediately what Annie did, we cannot be sitting and waiting for a one man who told, okay, I will do my job. She just took, and then this only one name I didn't call, I will call that name. And then she took the number, spoke to my husband. We found out we have a mutual friend.
Okay.
My office fellowship elder who is leading was his roommate.
Okay.
On that day, his roommate. Okay. They started talking like as if they were friends for forever. And then it happened in a moment. Whatever God spoke was true by the man of God on yesterday. You know, it just happened.
Within 24 hours.
Yeah, it happened. And then after the conversation, she felt very peaceful, and she told, hey, this is the best profile I think, God is taking us. So by the grace of God, he shared his profile in a biodata form, and then I shared mine. When I came to know later through my husband that God prophesied over to him that her bridegroom's mom will be a teacher. My mom is a teacher.
Wow.
And then the bridegroom will come from the native of Tiruvannamalai. My native is Tiruvannamalai.
Okay.
Okay. So this was like apt for him. And the same way I prayed to the Lord, you tell me if this is a groom, I will tell to my father. I cannot go and tell one after the other biodatas, because already
it's not possible.
Yeah, I cannot be like trying chances. I want to be so sure by the grace of God. And when I was fasting and praying, God told specifically that this is the one.
Okay.
I asked for the verse, and then he gave the verse, and then I asked for the confirmation. God gave the confirmation through the people so perfectly, and this happened. And then by the grace of God, by the acceptance of both the parents, our wedding happened in Jenny's in Coimbatore in a very peaceful way by the grace of God.
So it was a Christian wedding?
It was a wedding with no denomination. They just they'll tell it's by a manner of Tamil Morapadi. Then they'll announce, and then they declare they are wedded.
Okay, so that's how.
That's how. It's I took a stand. Me and my husband took a stand. We don't want to be wedded in another faith way. And then my parents were like, we need to invite everybody. I cannot go ahead and ask everybody to come to church. So by the grace of God, God gave us a knowledge to do this. Before our wedding happened, we had a prayer in our dressing room.
Okay.
With the pastor.
Oh, that's nice. So he also came from a different faith, is it?
Yes, so true.
So his family were also not Christians at all?
No. He also accepted Christ when he was in his college days. We have difference of, he is elder than me. He was in his engineering. He also had a different kind of encounter and accepted Christ.
Okay, so it was like both of you came from nearly the similar backgrounds.
Yes.
And God brought you both together.
So true.
And now you're blessed with 2 children, and I hear a lot about your children. So tell me something about them.
Yeah, so God blessed me with such a wonderful children, I should say. Sometimes I feel they are much more better than me, and I am not a very good parenting. I'm just learning to be a good parent. I need to be so true, tell that, because
I think none of us are perfect parents. It's only the Lord who parents our children ultimately.
So true. And then initially, when I got his proposal, my husband's proposal, my parents took me to one of the astrologer and made me to talk with him. The astrologer told me, you will never conceive. Okay, you will never conceive. You will not have children. You and your husband will not make a match, like that. He told. I listened to him very politely, and at the end I told him, I believe in Christ. Christ brought this. He will take care of this.
Wow.
My parents were in anger. Oh my grandfather was there. Everybody was like, oh, how she can tell with that family astrologer. So it was like that. And then by the grace of God, I used to pray even before I got married, I used to pray for my children, because anyway I'm going to give birth from myself. So I started, I'll keep my hand in my belly, and I used to read Bible louder. I remember before my first daughter was born, I read the whole Bible, reading it loud, keeping my hand on my belly.
Wow.
By the grace of God. I don't know why I started doing this. There was little inspiration from the TV, spiritual TVs which I watch. But God made me to do that persistently also. So by the grace of God, my first one was born. She prophesied to me when she was very small, 1 plus 5 years. We were in my native. I was
1.5 years you mean?
Oh yeah, when she was very small, she just started talking. She spoke very beautifully. She don't have that Malalai in Tamil. No? That was not there. She
spoke very clear.
Very clear. From the beginning itself, she's very social. She is very friendly. She'll talk with everybody. She can make friends with any stranger very easily. Through her, I got many friends. I need to say that. So I was crying at the feet of the Lord, praying for almost 2 hours. She is sleeping next to me. She don't know what I am doing. She's sleeping very peacefully. Once she woke up and she told me, "Mommy, I saw Jesus." And I told her, what you saw? What happened? She told me it was so amazing. Jesus told me to tell it to you. You need to pray every day, morning, afternoon and night. Okay, eventually every time, all the time. Speaking in tongues, kneeling. Okay, she told even speaking in tongues and all. And then and kneeling. There is 2 fruits. One is offered by the devil, and please don't take it, mommy. And then Jesus is also offering a fruit to you. It looked like an orange. When you do this, you will receive that orange.
Wow, so she spoke about the fruit of the Spirit, because orange is a fruit that has so many segments in it. No?
Yeah, I came to understand that after 5 years of that it is a fruit of the Spirit. I was wondering what is that orange means, because in the Eden garden there was only apple was written, but by the grace of God was so clear through the babe's mouth. God spoke.
So she has been a child who is very prophetic right from when she was born.
Yeah, yes. Even she used to cry in the middle of the night, scream. By the time I was not able to differentiate and understand that her spiritual realm was open, and devil was something making her to frighten her and all. She used to wake up and cry by 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. We don't know what to do. We'll just make her some way settle. It will take 30 minutes for her to get settled. It was so hard for us. Then once I started knowing that through the ministers of God, that to pray for her sleep and then protecting her spiritual realm so that she will be under the God's power. Then those sleep disturbances stopped. So it was like that.
Okay, this was for your first.
Yeah.
And what about your second born?
She is so cute, and then she says like, "Mommy, I saw one day Veda was having boils here." And then after few weeks, literally my daughter got severe boils here.
Okay.
And then we prayed, and then she got healed. And then she's such a girl of wisdom, I should say, the second one. She observes everything very neatly. on the time when we are doing something, she'll speak very softly, nothing like God says, no, nothing. But when she says something, it's be like a revelation. Okay, I need to change something, or we need to. Okay, why I am bothered on that? I should not worry about that. Like that, in common words itself, God talks to us through her. My elder daughter, once she got hurt in her leg. That night she was screaming like anything in pain, and then she went to sleep. Next day morning she woke up as if nothing was happening. When we asked her what happened, she told, Jesus came, mommy, and he healed me. We asked, how? You know, the fan opened like that, you know, and then Jesus came as if he was from an elevator, you know, in her baby words. Without, you know, swing he came.
Oh, so sweet.
And then he came, and then he asked me, what do you want, Veda? And then I told, Jesus, my leg is paining, I got hurt. And then Jesus took his 2 fingers and touched my toe and the next finger, and it got healed, mommy, like that. Very recently, few days back, she got hurt in her gums severely. She was already in few days of fever. I was crying and praying because it was so high. Still she got hurt, and then it was swollen like anything. It pus formed, 2 teeth, above 2 teeth. She was in pain terribly. Every day I was like, did Jesus come to and see you, tell you anything? I was like, she was telling, no mommy, no mommy. And then one day morning she woke up as if everything was normal. And then when I asked her, hey, by afternoon I remembered, hey, she is normal, maybe she would have seen Jesus. I asked her, baby, did you see Jesus? Yes, mommy, I forgot to tell you today, but this was so different. I saw our whole house was glowing with light. It was so bright. Our room was so bright. And then I heard something was, I heard a sound of everything dashing. It was like, I thought whole earth is gonna break off.
Oh my God.
And then Jesus told with such a big voice, she mimicked like that, Veda, like that he spoke, Veda, I am Jesus. And then don't worry about your teeth, I am with you. Before night I was crying, God spoke to me inside of my heart. I said, fear not, for I am with you. The same verse. And then next day she said the same thing. So much of pus and swelling gone.
Praise God.
Gone. It was like nothing, as if it was nothing. Little pale color was there. Next day even it was not there. Because some time back we faced that for her when once she got healed. It took 2 months for her to get healed. We was applying antibiotic for 2 weeks. But this time 2 days.
Wow.
Gone. And then I was turning pages and I read on the same day in Psalm, God spoke with a thunder voice. And then in 1 Samuel 7:10 I was reading to her, hey, see, God, the Lord spoke to them with a thunder voice on that day. So, oh, is that mommy which I saw the voice? I didn't see Jesus, I heard only voice. Even Jesus can heal with a voice, mommy. Because every time she was seeing Jesus, she was so excited and telling, even with voice of God, he can heal. I told it's a voice of Father in heaven.
So it's so wonderful to listen to you. So that must have been your heart cry, you know, your children must be in the Lord.
Yeah,
they should grow in the Lord.
Yes.
And as you're seeing them move in the Lord, and you as a family, how do you plan to minister together? What do you think your calling is, and how do you think God is, you know, pushing you into His ministry?
Yeah, it's such a big question. I know God has a greater purpose in our life. In ministry, we are taking baby steps and obeying God's voice. And we are very humbly taking our little ministry works outside. And then by the grace of God, I am one of the worship leader in our church. And then by the grace of God, my husband is working, supporting technically in the church and arrangements in the church. And then even in prayers as a family, we pray together. And we know God has a specific purpose of ministering to the families. It was prophesied over us through many ministers of God. By the grace of God, we are on the way towards God's big plan. I should tell that.
Wow, this is very interesting. So viewers, you've been listening to Vaishnavi and how God, had an encounter. She had an encounter with God, and God began using her, and those baby steps went to solid food, and Now God brought in a beautiful family, and you see the way her little children, right from the age of 1.5 years, is ministering, hearing from God and moving with the Holy Spirit. And God has got great plans for this family. I bless you, Vaishnavi.
Thank you so much,
That
Akka.
you and Vinod and both your little kids should do great exploits for Him.
Amen.
I bless each one of you who's watching here, that each one of you would be blessed like Vaishnavi is blessed, and each one of you would be that Enoch who would walk with God and one day walk off with Him. So till we meet in the next episode, it's a goodbye and God bless.
she